Hello everyone. Now I know I got a different title on than what I said I was going to do last week, and I'm still keeping the range for the video games in. So you really don't have to worry too much. It's going to be technically the same thing, so chill on that version, okay? What I'm going to do is talk basically about the Cowabunga collection from the Ninja Turtles. Now, how will I do this? Well, obviously, I'm going to rank the games that they gave us. All 13, I guess 13, games from worst to best. Which one was the worst one on the thing? Which one was the best one on the game? The reason I'm doing this is because, well, the top 5 games are going to be very obvious. And it probably won't be too many surprises. But if I rank this from worst to best, the game that started Ninja Turtles Month for me, that inspired me to do Turtles Month, then I feel like I'm getting to do a video with more quality into it. Instead of just being lazy and saying, this is my top 5 list. Well, because I don't post weekly anymore. I post maybe once a month now. This is the only month that I'm going to be posting 4 videos through the entire month, weekly. This is it. I'm not going to go weekly like I used to do, and I'm not going to be doing like how I used to do constantly Monday and Friday, or Monday or whatever. That's why I combine my intros and my other videos, and etc. It's just, I've got a lot going on. Business hours have picked up at work. It's summertime. I can't do like I used to. And that's why I haven't been actively searching for interviews or anything this year. Because I just don't have time anymore. I've had life changes happen. I've just lost time. And June is going to be the only month out of the year where I'm going to be posting 4 videos a month. The rest of the year is just going to be once a month, maybe, or once every other month. That's just how I've been doing. That's how I've been feeling, and I don't know. It's not that I hate doing YouTube anymore. It's just a lot of things has happened. I've recently lost like a ton of weight, and I've been running an hour a day, and etc., and it's just not the same thing anymore. It's not like it used to be, where I just used to sit my fat ass at home, and that was it. That was like, oh yeah, my fat ass is home now. So, anyhow, I'm not home as often, and when I am home, I normally do my hourly routine workout and etc. So that's why my videos have stopped. But now to get back to what I was saying, June, I'm still going to do Turtles Month every year. No matter what, I will be doing 4 videos a year every time when June comes around. 4 videos once a week, that's it. So this year is going to mark the final video for Turtles Month, is the Cowabunga collection, ranking it from worst to best. So let's get things started and let's start ranking this shit. Let's hit it. The Cowabunga collection's worst games to best games. Let's go! Here we go. The worst is just going to have to be this one. The TMT 2 arcade game for the NES. And I know that's going to upset a lot of people because, this is nostalgia. But come on, guys. This game to me is just, ugh. Even revising it and trying to replay it, I just could not get into the game like I could as a kid. And in fact, even as a kid, I did not like this game. I felt that it was faulty advertisement, and it just didn't feel right to me. The arcade version is so much better. The arcade version just really works. I guess the controls and the little bits in it, it just kind of drives me crazy. This was the first Ninja Turtle game that I have ever played, too, and I should love it more than, what I'm ranking it as. But it's not the worst Ninja Turtle game ever. No, there are far worse games than this. But in this collection, this is just my least favorite. It's got its issues, it's got its problems, and I am just not a fan of this version. I mean, that's about it. there's not much more I could say. I mean, there are some moments in here that I like. I mean, I do like the story mode that's going on, and I do like some of the unique bits that tries to copy the arcade version, but it's not the same thing. It feels like we're getting generic Wonder Bread here, and it just does not feel right to me. So let's go on to the next one. I'm not going to trash this one as much, as I previously thought. It's still a decent game and okay to play every once in a while, but it's my least favorite of the entire collection. Let's go to the next.
Entertainment System comes Ultra's version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Next is the original TMNT NES game, and I know this is a lot of people's first, and I know they love it, and I ranked it low. There's still some fun things I enjoy out of this one, but it is really not my favorite. And I know it's just gonna piss a lot of people off, but I find like the graphics very lackluster, leaving very little to the imagination, and that's just how I feel with this game. The turtle flips don't really work. Some of the weapons suck. You never use Michelangelo or Raphael here because they get killed quick enough. Donatello and Leo are the only useful ones because their weapons have enough long range to beat enemies. But if you lose them, then they are dead and you can't get them back and until the game is game over. And I'm just whining, I know. And mainly, I should love this game because it was also one of the first games I had on NES, along with the arcade game. I do have mixed emotions and nostalgia for this one, just not like I used to. Not for the other ones that are on this list. I know a lot of people really love this one, but I find the villains and the boss battles kind of boring, and I find the gaming setup is just too damn difficult. It's a pain in the ass to play this one, and I'm sorry if I upset some of you Nostalgia Turtle fanboys. This one is just not for me. And I'll play it, I'll give it a look through, and give it a go through just to say I beat it, but this is the one that I have yet to beat. I have at least beat Turtles 2 NES arcade version, but after this one, I'm going to promise you guys this much. My complaining is going to go to a halt after this version is done. So let's maneuver. Okay, I lied just a little bit on this one. I lied just a teensy bit, but the Tournament NES Fighters is okay. I actually had this one, and I know this one was made just to correspond with the SNES and the Sega Genesis version to the kids who didn't have an SNES, but I had this one, and I spent decent hours playing it. I enjoyed it. But the graphics on it are just a main complaint. They suck, and some of the controls are kind of shitty too. It doesn't feel like Ninja Turtles slapped on with Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. It just feels like they're taking a generic version of something that was already a generic game and making it, very lackluster. The other games, other versions on this list actually have decent graphics and really good detail, and there's something fun about this one. This one has okay fun. It's nothing spectacular. Maybe the character roster is a little different. Maybe, I don't know. I think this one shouldn't have been made at all because, well, the other two were already out, but I think that NES just had it made so they could keep their lifespan a little longer, more so than, well, the other games on this list on why they were made, so that kids didn't have to go out and buy an SNES to get to play the next Turtle game. But then again, I have no idea why this one was made. The graphics on it just kind of suck, and the gameplay on it is a little more stilted and less colorful too. There's nothing really good about it. It's just bland. That's about it. Like I said, no giant complaints here. It's just kind of a bland game itself, but at least it tried. Radical Rescue for the Game Boy is actually okay. I really like this one. Now, it's not the best on their Game Boy list, which hence why I put it so low, but I have some decent memories in this one. Nothing too spectacular. The graphics are pretty good for Game Boy. And I don't know, I just had a lot of fun playing this one. There's nothing really to say about it. The boss battles are a little fun, and it's kind of enjoyable. I really like how much they did put into this tiny little game cartridge, and I think that they really did well to revise it on the Cowabunga collection. It's still a lot of fun, and this is going to be probably my shortest ranking on this video. It's just decently enjoyable. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary, and nothing really wrong with it. I give it a thumbs up decent, or at least half a thumb. Cut the thumb off, it's half a thumb. Let's go on to the next one. Radical Rescue for the Game Boy is actually okay. I really like this one. Now, it's not the best on their Game Boy list, which hence why I put it so low, but I have some decent memories in this one. Nothing too spectacular. The graphics are pretty good for Game Boy. And I don't know, I just had a lot of fun playing this one. There's nothing really to say about it. The boss battles are a little fun, and it's kind of enjoyable. I really like how much they did put into this tiny little game cartridge, and I think that they really did well to revise it on the Cowabunga collection. It's still a lot of fun, and this is going to be probably my shortest ranking on this video. It's just decently enjoyable. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary, and nothing really wrong with it. I give it a thumbs up decent, or at least half a thumb. Cut the thumb off, it's half a thumb. Let's go on to the next one. From the Sewers was actually quite enjoyable. I really like this game. Like I said, a lot like Radical Rescue, it was okay. This one's okay too. You won't find me going and over preaching on this one. I mean, the graphics are about the same. You know, on these new HD editions though, one thing I don't like about downloading new games from like, you know how like 3DS had old Game Boy games you could download and play and stuff like that back in the day. You know, I guess they stopped that now, which kind of sucks. Is they could have at least given us a color palette of it. I mean, if you buy the game now and you use a Game Boy Color, they give you a color palette. This is one of my big complaints. They could have colorized the game. Were they so lazy that they couldn't do that? That is just a miniature complaint, and it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I guess they want you to feel like that you're playing the old game, but if it's on your fucking TV, do you want to play something black and white? Maybe there's a feature on my system that can change it to color. I don't ever really see it, so I don't spend a lot of times on here. The nice thing about having the Game Boy Advance / Game Boy Color was they would be nice enough if you had the old game cartridge to colorize it, you know, for you. So playing these on the big screen can be a big letdown for me. But still, the game is fun, decent graphics, and I have a pretty decent time on this one too. Even though the gameplay is a little more detailed than I recalled when I was younger, I still like this, and I'm glad they included it on the set. Okay, this is one that I do have a soft spot for. When I got my Game Boy Color as a kid, my brother actually gave me Fall of the Foot Clan. And I know it's not actually technically a Game Boy Color game, but it was the first game I ever got for my Game Boy Color system, and nice enough, they did color palette it. This one is very similar to the NES version, and I do kind of respect it for that. But they did do a little bit better graphics. The graphics actually look more similar to the cartoon characters, and I like that a lot. This one is quite a bit of fun, and I'm so glad that they were able to kind of tweak basically the original NES game and make it a little more fun and enjoyable. When I think of good turtle games, this is one that comes to mind. But like I said, I wish when they would redo these damn games, they would give them a nice enough color palette. I mean, come on guys, I know you got the money to do it. 3DS is so cheap that they wouldn't even do that shit. It always used to just bug me, and I keep going on and on about it. But as for this game itself, I have a lot of nostalgia, love, and value with this one, and it's probably the Game Boy version that I spent playing the most as a kid, and I would always be Donatello because his bow had long range, and other than that, he was my favorite turtle too. It's still a good game, and they actually incorporate the original theme song from the cartoon series. You know, I'm sorry I sound stupid, but yeah. I'm still going to complain that they won't put a color palette in the damn game, but other than that, it's worth playing as a revisiting. But I would recommend, if you want to see it in color, get yourself a Game Boy Advance SP and just buy the original cartridge. It's not very expensive. But I like this game. It gets a whole thumbs up from me. Alright, now we are getting into the fun portion. This is where we're going to get into great 16-bit fun and later on the bigger graphics. We're going to go with Tournament Fighters, the Sega Genesis version. And I've got to say, this one is just fun too, because you get to be characters like Casey Jones and some new characters that they threw in there that are just great. The Turtles have better moves, they can flip, they can do things. It's a way better, way more welcome thing, you know, welcoming of the turtle fighting stuff, way better than the NES version. This one you get to be so many decent characters, even though Genesis is not known for having great gameplay mechanics, as in, like with the Street Fighter, you have to actually press certain buttons to do certain moves, like pressing start. So, I never actually had this game because I didn't really use a Sega Genesis that much. That was my older brother's thing. My thing was the SNES or the NES or sometimes like Dreamcast and stuff that came out later on. But this game is pretty fun from what I've seen. I don't know if they fixed the gameplay mechanics or not in this, but it was still a pretty decent game and quite a bit of fun. The graphics are so much better than the NES version, and the super moves are where it's at here. I love the freaking super moves, but nothing too spectacular or outstanding about it other than it's kind of just a carbon copy of another version. So let's move on, keep going. Now we're on to the arcade game, and this was what the NES version was trying to copy. This version is where it's at. This version is freaking awesome with badass graphics and just straight out freaking fun. And what do I mean by that? It's just fun. I remember when this was in, you know, my mom used to clean hotels, and the hotel lobby actually had an arcade room, and this game was there. Man, I popped in so many fucking quarters in this thing while my mom was cleaning hotel rooms or whatever, or beach houses or whatever the fuck they were. I would just sit there for like 8 hours, and I had $5 in flat out quarters, and I would spin that shit up all day because I wanted to see what happens next. This was almost like how much money I would put in the Simpsons freaking game that was in the arcade system. It would devour every quarter I had. I would try to save up all my allowances just to get, you know, to play on this fucking machine. And was it good? Yeah, it was really good. Though, I do love the gameplay, and I don't know if they've actually revised it well or not. I'm just gonna say, this game alone is just fun to play. Though it can be pretty enraging at times, and unfortunately they took things out of it like the Pizza Hut logos, which kind of sucked because I really like the Pizza Hut logos from the NES version and the arcade versions. But other than that, I really enjoy this game, and this is like top tier Turtle goodness here. It's good graphics, good gameplay, and a lot of fun boss battles. Even though they can be difficult at times, it's easily worth playing. I highly recommend it. This one is like one of the Cowabunga collection's best games. Now we're talking the fucking Hyperstone Heist is just as good as the SNES version. This one, they didn't take the same game concept and just slap it with a different title and make it basically the same game. There is some new twists and turns to this one. Now, do I think it's as good as Turtles in Time? Well, not really. But I will say this one is fun, and they made the levels a little longer. They kind of upped the music in it, which I'm okay with. I do like that more grittier Sega Genesis feel that they had. But yeah, this one's fun, and we actually get Tatsu from the Ninja Turtle movies as a villain, which is just great. I love Hyperstone Heist to pieces. It is such a fun game. I could go on and on about how much I love it. And you know what the sad thing is? I wasn't even in the nostalgia version of this game because, well, I didn't know this game existed until I was in my 20s. And I downloaded it legally to my PSP SNES emulator, which I swear to God is just, Sega Genesis emulator, which, I swear to God, it's totally legal. Anyhow, yeah, this game was just fun. No nostalgia to it, but it does miss some of the charm of the SNES version. But yeah, I love this one, and I've got to say, I like some of the movie references and some of the graphic designs and stuff in here. But there are some parts where the graphics can and does fall short of the other versions. But it's still a fantastic game. I enjoy it. It's great. And I probably wasted a few hours playing it when it came out on the Cowabunga collection and my totally legal collection version on my PSP. Anyhow, great game. Let's move on. Okay, now we're on to the SNES Tournament Fighter, which is a pretty badass game. Take the graphics and fighting skills from Street Fighter, slap the Ninja Turtles on it, and some of the most beautiful graphics and music and super fucking awesome attacks just come out. My favorite being in Donatello's, where a fucking dragon comes out of a bow and beats your enemy with your special move. Man, this game is just off the charts badass. But it's not the best for a few reasons. It's basically a Street Fighter clone with the turtle slapped on it. In fact, I like this one a lot, and I did spend many hours as a kid playing it. Quite a bit, even. And I do like it. I enjoy it, and I respect it. It is a fantastic game with so much effort put into it. But at the end of the day, it was just slapped on there. And I know that pisses a lot of people off for me to say that, but I enjoy it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It is a massive improvement over the NES and Genesis version, and I love the special moves. And in fact, I love playing Shredder in this game because he's got like the freaking bison moves in there. And that's where the games in themselves fall short here. Basically, the moves are taken straight from Street Fighter and just slapped on there with some different twists put in. But still, I love it. I don't care that it's a generic Street Fighter ripoff because it's still a lot of fun and I just love it. I've gotten into thumb-bleedingly big fights with people playing this game and trying to do all the super moves in it and the specials and everything. It's just so much fucking fun that I can't help but love every second of it. Now, and the game isn't too hard. They even include characters from the original comics in here. And Shredder's design, even though some people will say it's from the movie, is actually from the comics. He's the Oroku Saki from the comics. So it kind of just kicks ass here. Okay, I'm done bragging about it. I'm done gushing about it. Let's keep going.
Pizza power!
This is blasphemous to put the arcade version of Turtles in Time not at the best. But maybe I feel like there's a complaint with it because the game is too short. And it is. In retrospect, the game is only 30 minutes long, and that's not very long to actually get to sit back and enjoy it. And it's a very easy game, too, on top of all that. But man, did I lose a lot of quarters in this arcade machine, too. My brother and I would play it at a Pizza Hut, gaming system place. Our old Pizza Hut, back before they tore it down from where we live, had an arcade system of some classic games. There was the X-Men game, and then there was this game, and I just would play it for hours. I mean, we would just go around. I would be Donatello, and he would be Michelangelo, and we would just go through trying to kick so much ass in this game. I love every second of it, and the storyline is fun. They utilize the characters in a great, fun way. And you just get so much enjoyment out of it. It pumps you up. And the music soundtrack is damn near perfect. That's all I'm going to say. It's probably some of the best Ninja Turtles soundtrack I've heard since the original 1990 film. I love this movie, and it is a distinct 90s feel. It's just a great game all around. But it's not the best of the best for some of the lagging features. There are some things in the SNES version that I do miss that was not present in here, and I wish they would have included it. So it's not ranked the best just for some very slight small reasons. But other than that, this would be one of the best things to play as a Turtle fan. I would show this to almost any Turtle fan and let them play it. The character designs are fun, and you can do so much with the side-scrolling beat-em-up. It is one of the best cartoon games, arcade games out there. And it is definitely worth all the, probably about $50 worth of quarters that I would put into it through my life until they tore our Pizza Hut down. So, all I've got to say is this one gets 2 thumbs up from how awesome it is. Turtles in Time is a badass arcade system. But let's keep going. I know what you're thinking. The Manhattan Project is over the arcade version of Turtles in Time? I've got to say that the Manhattan Project is severely, unjustly underrated. It is a fun game. Yeah, the graphics aren't that great, for NES standards anyhow. They look fine. And Turtles in Time just has a lot, but this took a lot of pieces of Turtles in Time, and it was basically its prototype. And it's a fun game. I mean, downright fun. This was definitely the prototype for Turtles in Time, like I'm saying, though. I enjoy it. I like the whole Florida setting at the start of the game, and the graphics are fun, and you get to be the choice of turtles that you want, and they have special moves with them, too. Even though the moves drain half your life, but who cares? It's still a fun game and really, really enjoyable. I really did spend a lot of time on my NES on this one. Man, and it was restored really well in this collection. It's a hard game, too, until you actually get into the groove of the game, but it is so worth it. I love this one to pieces, and it is definitely worthy of second best. But it does have some minor flaws in it too. There are some flaws in this game that I really dislike. Like using your ability, your special move, and it drains over half your life. I hate that shit. Or basically sometimes a crowd of enemies can overcrowd you and you can get the fucking shit beat out of you. But other than that, this is a great game, and it's highly underrated. It's almost a Ninja Turtle masterpiece, and I would rank it as the best, but there is one more on the list, and here comes Major Dickery. We all knew it was going to be Turtles in Time, the SNES version. This is the only time a home console version of a game is better than an arcade version, and that takes a lot of skill. They put in so much effort in this home release, it nearly matches the arcade version. Hey, Hey, even the reshelled version couldn't capture the magic of this one. There is just so much enjoyment in this one, and I really do like this one a lot. I love it. It is my favorite Turtle game, without any surprise. My brother and I would spend hours on the SNES playing the same levels over and over again, trying to unlock all the special content, trying to play it in expert hard mode as much as we could. I spent so many hours. The graphics are beautiful. The music is just awesome. I mean, I use the fucking intro of Big Apple 3 AM for my Turtles Month intro. What does that tell you on how much I love the themes in this? The soundtrack is overflowing. Everything just works in this masterpiece of a game. This is just capturing the original 87 cartoon in its entirety. You get freaking awesome boss fights. All the bosses from the original cartoon are there. Metalhead's there, or I think that was his name. It's been a while, guys. Leatherhead, you get to fight him. You throw in time travel. It's amazing. And then Toka and Razor are there in the Technodrome. Two things I never thought would be side by side were there. Yes, I know Tatsu from the movies was in the Hyperstone heist, but this, you get Toka and Razor and Bebop and Rocksteady in the same freaking context. How does that even work? Oh man, I love this game. It's just so much. The world building, the Technodrome level is probably my favorite, especially when you get to throw foot soldiers at the screen of your TV, and it looks so fucking badass. Man, I get pumped just playing this game. The music is all perfectly well balanced for the setting, and the gameplay is just so much fun. Yes, it still suffers from the same problem as Manhattan Project of where your special moves drains lives, but it only takes 2 bars instead of a whole bunch of life. I love that, and there's always well discarded little extra features like the pizza crust, sewer surfing. Everything about this game was done perfection-wise. Everything. It outranks the arcade, and that is a lot when you can outrank an arcade version with a home console system. Cowabunga Collection was great, and that's all I'm going to say. I love this game to pieces, and it is the best Turtles game, period. And that about wraps up this Dick Writing review here.
I did it. I got through another year of Turtles Month, and I'm gotta say I'm grateful for everybody that enjoyed last year's Turtles Month and this year's Turtles Month. It was just an honor to get to do it again. And when I thought that I was not going to get to film these 4 videos this year, it just kept pushing me on, because a lot of people apparently were looking forward to this, and you know what? I was too. I love Ninja Turtles. I could talk about them for years to come. It's just an awesome fucking franchise that just keeps on giving and giving. Do you have any suggestions for next Turtles Month? Maybe I should rank April O'Neil. Maybe I should rank Splinter. Maybe I should do both. Tell me in the comments. Always remember, I'm listening.
Hello, this is Corey Feldman. Welcome to my studio here in Los Angeles, California. And I just wanted to pop in to say congratulations to Tim. Mr. Tim, I hope everybody's enjoying your videos. He's got some great content, and if you're enjoying his content, make sure you click on that little button right there that says subscribe. Why? Because everything on his channel is Bossa Nova. That's right. Congratulations on your channel, Mr. Tim. I'll be following you, and I know everybody else will too.
Pizza Power!